Do you think you know everything there is to know about mining in Stardew Valley? Are you a new player looking for some information to give you that edge? In this video, I will cover topics such as keybinds, taking advantage of the terrain to give you a decisive edge over the monsters, a detailed look into all sections of the mines with some helpful tips thrown into the mix, and what mining skill tree is the best choice. My name is Artemis and welcome to the Ultimate Mining Guide. Let's get started. You gain access to the mines on the 5th day of spring when the Jojama people have finally removed the boulder blocking your path. Once you venture on, you get to meet Marlin, who sets you on the quest to get to the bottom of the mines. The mines have a total of 120 levels, which are broken into 3 stages. Copper ore levels between 1 and 40, iron ore stages between 41 and 80, and gold ore stages between 81 and 120. Each part generally has a different host of monsters that will increase in difficulty each time. So why venture into the mines? The answer is that the mines have heaps of precious gems worth money, combat items, and most importantly, the types of ore in which you create copper, iron, and gold bars. These metal bars are critical to many crafting recipes in the game, like sprinklers, kegs, upgrading your tools, and making a stable. If you want to do anything worthwhile on your farm, you will need the materials from the mines. If you watch TV in the morning, the luck channel lets you know what your luck is going to be for the day. This also affects mining, the amount of ores you can expect, and how bad monster spawns will be. The general advice others give is to mine on the best luck days, because then you'll make the most progress. And although I do agree with this statement, definitely mine on the good luck days. I will go to the mines if I need to, regardless of luck. My most efficient day in the mines was when I was able to travel down 20 levels, and I remember that being on the worst luck day because I made a big huff about it. You make your own luck, people. Keybinds, and having your most used items within reach so you can quickly switch to them. This is very important, people. I play on PC, so I can only really advise the PC owners, as I have no idea how the controls work for consoles. My apologies to the console players, but the next little bit might not be helpful to you unless it inspires you to set up your button binds for the game. 3 things you need access to quickly in the mines is your weapon, pickaxe, and your source of energy or health. My setup is my weapon on keybind 1 and my pickaxe on keybind 2. With these 2 keybinds, it is very easy for me to switch between my tool and weapon without having to click or using my mouse scroll button. Thirdly, whatever food source you have. The minus and the equal buttons on your keyboard, these are impossible to use when you're playing the game that requires quick fingers. So what I did was create keybinds for those buttons. My minus is macro to my Q button, and my equals is macro to my E button. I have my food sources on these 2 macros, so when I'm under stress in the mines, my pointer and ring finger are right under these 2 buttons, making it super fast to quickly select a food source. Smash the right mouse button, which pauses the game when it asks you, do you want to consume said item? Keep spamming it as you eat to continue pausing the game, getting all of your health back. Also a tip, I'm not sure if this works for console players, but in that little cutscene where you say yes to eating your food and your character does the little hop, on PC, you can actually use your mouse to click on another item on your hotbar. So, for example, you're swarmed by monsters. You have just cheated by eating everything you have. During that final item you are eating, you can pull a fast one. Switch to your sword, have it selected, and already be spamming the right mouse button, so as soon as the game unpauses, you are instantly blocking, and this could save you from incoming damage. Absolutely barbaric! Monsters can only hurt you when they are on top of you. There are so many obstacles you can use to your advantage here. Note, this doesn't apply to flying monsters, as those bastards will obviously fly over said obstacles and kamikaze your ass. Now for the other landlubbers. They need to hug you to hurt you. I find positioning myself behind a rock will keep you generally safe. However, if you're directly behind a rock, that keeps you from doing damage as well. So shimmy yourself to the edge of the rock so that half of your torso sticks out. If you're spamming attack at this point, the monster is going to try and path to you. What they need to do is move across the rock, then they need to turn and face you and move again to hurt you. But because you're not directly behind the rock anymore and spamming attack, they will run into your weapon first before getting to you. If you have a knockback weapon, this is particularly effective. There are three main weapon types here. The sword, which is probably the main go-to of every player, the hammer type, and then the dagger type. Quick ranking for me, sword is king, hammer is nice, and I dislike dagger because it is a very close stabby weapon and I prefer to keep my enemies at a distance. The sword, decent damage, and the special use is to block for a short duration with a short cooldown. Block is very powerful. It blocks attacks from any direction, even knocking back some enemies or stopping them in their track. Use block often.
It's hammer time!
Hammer, best damage of all the weapons, and the special use is a small area of effect Hulk Smash. It's quite nice, and it also seems to have a bit longer reach than swords, so useful when you're using the terrain to your advantage. There's no blocking mechanic though. The dagger, a very quick stabby weapon, can only stab in front of you. If monsters attack you from the side and it is on top of you, then you get a hit off, after you've been hit as well. The special attack is a very quick stabby stab, but only one of the stabs hits because of the knockback, which makes it just a single stab anyways. Not a good weapon choice. Slingshots. You get them as rewards as you travel through the levels. I haven't had much experience with them, but from what I have done, the controls are awkward, it's inverted and you can't change that from what I can tell. It's wonky and misses the target and you have to expend stone or ore as ammo, and the higher quality ore, the better the damage. I don't find these weapons useful, to be honest. As this is a guide to the mines, I'm not going to tell you what food is best because everyone will be at different stages of the game. Obviously, someone who's further in the game will have access to better food types. The point is to simply take food with you because you absolutely need it, both for energy and health. In the early game, everyone will have access to spring onions down south, and between the 15th and 18th of spring, you can get salmon berries. If you have the mushroom cave, then brown mushrooms are an excellent choice and you will have a daily supply of them. Okay, let's enter the mines for the very first time and talk about the copper levels. Obviously, copper ore is found in this section of the mines. Copper is the metal that is mainly used to make artisan producing items on your farm, like the mayonnaise machine, the cheese press, kegs, and the tapper. Very important items for any fledgling farmer. You can also generally find on these levels amethyst, topaz, quartz, and earth crystals. The quartz being important for some crafting items as you can smelt it into refined quartz, and the earth crystal is used to make mayonnaise machines. Between these levels you will find these monsters. Slimes. Now these are the most common enemies you will find in the entire mine. They are common across all sections. They are green, blue, red, and sometimes grey or brown. The main reason you'll dislike these little fellas is because they slime ya. This is a debuff that will last just a few moments and reduce your movement speed, during which time they seem to dance around your feet triumphantly. Use the obstacles to your advantage. If you keep a rock between you, he can't lunge at you. And these guys can be blocked with the sword, and it does do damage to them. The best strategy is also to use the terrain to your advantage. Each hit slightly hits them back, corner them, and keep slapping them until they finally wither away. This will be applicable to all slimes, but expect the higher level slimes to take more damage and to deal more damage. Just don't get slimed. The Duggy. Now obviously these guys are diglets. They only appear in the dirt parts of the levels. They are easy to avoid so long as you don't stand still. To kill them, run over their home, draw them out, and once they have popped their little heads up, play whack-a-mole and end them. Bugs. These are the slow flying grubs, the least threatening thing in the game. Just steer clear of their straight flying path, approach them from the side and kill them. No worries at all. Rock and lava crabs. These guys like to assume the form of rocks and absolutely bamboozle you. They are hard to tell apart, but the shadows under their shells are slightly smaller than the shadows of the rocks. Using your pickaxe or bombs will blow up these little guys' shells, and once they're naked and lost their shields, they are easy pickings. Grubs and cave flies. Alright, these little buggers are two of a kind, with their descendants being the cave flies. The grubs are slow little devils that usually show up in packs. Kill these guys quickly because once they feel threatened, they will morph into the cocoons. And now they are immune to damage. And then all of a sudden, you have a flying cave fly. Still not overly threatening, but they're annoying now because they can fly. Bats are a simple flying creature. You will see them all the way through the mines and they will get stronger as well. Just give them a good slap when they get too close to you. If you do get swarmed by bats or flying creatures in general, you can always run away and flying creatures will bunch up and follow you in a straight line, making them easy to fight off. Batter up! The stone golem. These guys are found in the darker parts of the mines. So dark you barely see them until they are on top of you. Luckily they don't do a lot of damage, so give them a good smack and they collapse. A secondary tip on these levels. Out of all these monsters, they all have their loot that they drop, but the ones I will point out which you always want to make sure you kill are the bugs, grubs and the cave flies. These three little devils have a chance to drop the ancient seed, a 0.05% chance each. Long story short, this singular item can be used to make massive money later in the game. Copper level rewards. Every 10 levels in the mine, you will find a barren level with a chest and a reward for your efforts. In this section, level 10 are some nice leather boots which should be an upgrade for you at this point. Level 20 will reward you with a steel small sword, which is a nice little upgrade if you haven't found anything in a crate. Level 30 is no reward unfortunately. Level 40 is the first slingshot, and as I've mentioned before, these weapons are not great to use. Now that's the first section done. A quick note at this point is that the adventure guild next to the mine will give you rewards for killing a certain amount of each creature. The only creature here whose adventure guild reward is kinda worth it would be the slimes, which gives you the slime ring, making you immune to all little slimes. The slime charmer ring. You get this ring once you have killed 1000 slimes, which is quite a lot. The ring makes you immune to smaller slimes, which is perfect for the slime hutch and raising your own little herd of slimes. Look at them, they're trying to hurt you, but they can't. It's adorable. Makes you want to lose control and take your revenge for all those times you got slimed. Do you see these candles? You should definitely pick up at least one. Why? This is the reason. Welcome to one of those really dark levels where you can't see anything, especially the staircase. Luckily, you only have to hold the candle and all of a sudden, light, show me the way. If you see crates and barrels running through the mines, bring out your inner Crash Bandicoot and smash those boxes. You won't get Wumpa Fruit, no, but the crates do have a chance to drop you weapons, armor and rings, often a required upgrade for the current levels. Here is a good question. What time is the latest that you can comfortably stay at the mines before booking it home? Well, if at this point you are completely on foot, legging it home takes just under 1 hour, so you could safely leave the mines at 12:30 and make it home on time. But give yourself some extra time as I don't know what's on your farm and what obstacles you have to dodge. However, this needs to happen when you run home. You must wake up Linus every time, just to remind him that he is loved. At midnight. Oi, Linus! Welcome to the frozen section of the mines. Iron ore is your number one thing that you're going to find on these levels. Iron bars are also used to make a few artisan items. They are required for kegs, bee houses and quality sprinklers. You also need iron bars to make your stable. In this section, you'll also notice aquamarines, frozen tears and jades. The monsters you can expect in this section are a bit tougher than the previous lot, but they're still tolerable. Dust sprites. These cheerful little fellas are probably the cutest thing in the game. They barely hurt you, in fact they tickle you. Why do you even want to hurt such an innocent little thing? Well, the main thing is they have a high chance to drop coals, so Yeah, absolutely obliterate them, you savage. They also have a chance to drop coffee beans, and this is a really nice crop to get speed boosts. I'll turn a blind eye. Go ham. And here we have Casper the friendly ghost. Oh, he just wants a hug. As soon as he hugs you, he respectively backs away a few 100,000 feet and slowly moves back towards you to give you another hug, making this fella hard to kill because he keeps his social distance from you. They move so slowly I can happily go about my business for what seems forever until he finally catches up. I tell him no means no, he backs away, and then slowly comes back again. Now, bear with friend zoning this guy, because when you finally slay him, you actually get nice stuff. This is probably the earliest point you'll see gold ore in the game, as this fella drops it. Skeletons are similar to the stone golems, though they are tougher, and these are the first creature with a ranged attack. Apparently they rip off their own limbs and throw it at you medieval style.
Come, adventurer, the hero of Galamir must venture on.
We have reached the end of the monsters of the frozen level. Now, in regards to the Adventurers Guild, we have a wiener here. The Dust Sprites. Oh, these poor little guys. You want to kill as many as you can because the reward you get from the guild is very beneficial, and it stays beneficial once you get it. The reward for killing 500 of them is the Burglar Ring. This doubles the amount of loot monsters drops for you, which is very helpful if you're farming certain monster kills for a particular item. Ancient Seed. The rewards for the frozen levels are as follows. Level 50, you get the Tundra Boots, which will be an upgrade from your leather boots. At level 60, you get the Crystal Dagger. I'm not a huge fan of daggers, but each to their own. Level 70, you get the Master Slingshot, and you know how I feel about this. Moving on. Level 80, you get the Firewalker Boots, which again is another upgrade to your Tundra Boots. At this point, before we get to another section, here are some more random tips coming right at you. As you should have a chest upstairs to store all your loot, also make it your early game workroom with all your furnaces. Each time you reach an elevator room or your backpack is full, shoot up, start a new smelt, and get back to splunking. This makes smelting ores very efficient. By this point, you should probably have gathered enough stuff to complete the Boiler Room Community Center bundle. Get that completed as it unlocks the minecarts for you, allowing you to stay up as late as 1 AM before you have to run home. If you have your horse by this point, you can push it even later, but that's up to you to experiment with. And the final stages of the mines are the lava levels. This is where you find gold ore. Now, gold bars is used to make the legendary iridium sprinkler, oil makers, and crystallariums. In this section, you can also find emeralds, fire quartz, and rubies. The fire quartz are the same as normal quartz, but when you smelt them, they make 3 refined quartz at a time. And here is a list of the monsters you'll encounter here. Just a word of advice here. The monsters in this section become drastically stronger than the previous levels. Tread cautiously. The Shadow Brute. Okay, these guys are tanks. They more or less shrug off attacks, they get knocked back less, and they're on a singular mission, and it's to beat you up and take your lunch money. The strategy here is to keep your distance from these guys. Take advantage of the fact that they can't move diagonally and through rocks. Hit them and run away. The Shadow Shaman. These are magic users. They are quite nasty. The brutes are the tanks, and these are their healers. Shamans can heal themselves and others around them. It's advisable to take care of them first. They can also apply a debuff to you. If you are hit with their green magic, you take more damage. Such a dog move! If this happens, back away from the monsters, because otherwise, you're gonna have a bad time, okay? The Metalhead. These little guys are kind of like an evolved rock crab, resistant to knockback and have a bit more health. No special move, they just like to invade your personal space. Use the terrain to your advantage and keep your distance. The Squid Kid. This thing pretty much exhibits the behavior of a tower. They shoot fireballs at you from a distance which can bounce off walls. They can hover over rocks, making them hard to get, but they are not very strong. Just slap them once and they die. Please note, a sword cannot block their fire attack. And that is the monsters that inhabit the last levels of the mines. Guess what? We have a wiener here in regards to the Adventurers Guild quest. Killing the Shadow Shamans and the Shadow Brutes gives you a nice reward at the end. Dismembering 150 of these devils will yield you the Savage Ring. This is actually quite fun to wear. Every time you kill a creature, you get a short 2-second +2 speed buff. This also counts kills from bombs you place down. In the later gameplay, when you have speed buffs stacked, this makes you really fast in the mines. The rewards you get in the lava levels are as follows. Level 90, you get the Obsidian Edge. Now this is a nice weapon and it'll definitely help you against these tougher monsters. Level 100, you get a Star Drop, which increases your energy pool. Level 110, you will find the Space Boots, which are a solid defense upgrade and will help you shrug off those attacks from these big monsters. And finally, level 120, you are rewarded with the Skull Key, which is needed to enter the Skull Cave. I'm not going to cover the Skull Cave in this video. For a guide on how to do the Skull Cave, check out my video linked in the description. And here are some more random facts for you. Killing monsters before hitting rocks. The general advice is to kill all monsters on a level before you start hitting rocks, because once all monsters are dead, the staircase has a higher chance of appearing. Plus, the monsters themselves have a chance to drop the stairs down for you as well. Although this is true, I'd recommend to run through the level hitting rocks in your immediate path and killing monsters as you encounter them. I do a happy 50-50, but this is up to you on how you want to approach the levels. You may be low on energy, so it makes sense to hunt down monsters first and then break rocks. Or the opposite, a lot of energy and no health, so hitting rocks is better. Sometimes you are greeted with a monster level. This is indicated by the green hue, the monster icon on the side, and a text bubble saying it's a monster level. You need to kill every monster on the floor before the staircase will appear. Sometimes the screen becomes hazy and a weird humming noise follows. You are then swarmed by dozens of flying creatures. Again, like with all flying creatures, run in a direction leading the creatures to follow you in a straight line, then batter up. Sometimes you get a quarry themed level where the slimes are brown and grey. These levels are no different to the rest, they just look different aesthetically. Once per day, you can encounter a mushroom level in the lava section of the mines. This level will have an increased spawn of red and purple mushrooms, great for foraging skills. Quick side tip, big boulders and grey rocks provide the player with the best source of stone in the game, other than Robin, who charges you your soul for a stack of rocks. My advice is always hit these rocks and boulders to keep a healthy supply of stone, as it's a main building resource, something you don't want to run out of. Boulders provide 10 stones and grey rocks provide 2 to 3 stones depending if you have the miner skill. Speaking of mining skills, here we have the mining skill tree. Both tree lines have their pros and cons, but I prefer one line when I'm starting out the game, and then I'd happily switch to the other tree later in the game. Level 1. You can make a cherry bomb, conserve some energy and blow up those rocks instead. Level 2. You can craft a staircase for 99 stone. If you have spare stone and are having a particularly bad time with a mine level, like those damn spiral levels, craft up some stairs and bypass them. Level 3. Get the miner's treat recipe. Craft this lolly to improve your mining and magnetism as you mine. Level 4. Transmute 3 copper bars into an iron bar. Level 5 is when you have a choice in skills. Miner is a +1 per ore vein, and grey rocks provide 1 extra stone as well. Geologist. Breaking gemstones have a 50% chance to provide you with 2 gems. My advice? Early game, you're struggling for ores and rock. I'd recommend miner at the beginning, and once you are set up, then I would go geologist. Level 6. Craft a bigger boom 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 boom. Level 7. Transmute 2 iron bars into a single gold bar. Level 8. Craft a mega bomb because you want to blow up the planet. Level 9. Craft a crystallarium that is used to duplicate gems. Level 10 is another choice. If you took miner at level 5, you can choose blacksmith. metal bars are worth 50% more, or you can go Prospector, chance to find coal is doubled. My advice is to take Prospector. Having more ore and more coal increases your bars to create all of your items for your farm. If you chose Geologist at level 5, you can choose either Excavator, chance to find double geodes of any kind, or Gemologist, which makes gems worth 30% more. Early game, I'd go Miner and Prospector to help you set up your farm because of more ore and coal. Later, when you are set up and you go the Crystallarium farm route, I'd switch to Geologist and Gemologist to increase the price of gems sold at that point. And that, Stardew Valley fans, has been a comprehensive look at mining in Stardew Valley. If you have stuck with me until the end, I want to take a moment to thank you for your attention. I hope you learned something new, and if you found this video enjoyable, hit that like button. And if you want to see more content like this, hit that subscribe button, and I hope to catch you guys in the next video. Cheers, peace out.